Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and I hope you have all been doing well. So here we are coming back again with yet another video in our To Love series. And if you haven't got a chance, just go ahead and check out our channel to view the other love videos that we have out currently. We may have one that's directly for you. But for now, have you ever got a chance to watch The Wizard of Oz? I mean, most of us have. But if you have, one of the most things you may find or remember that is important is that little tornado that came down and swooped up poor little Dorothy and took her over to Oz. And if you've ever experienced or seen a tornado in action, then you will most likely know that tornadoes have a bit of a purposeful and stubborn nature, making a mind of its own and letting you know that once they start their destructive path, there is no way back. Tornadoes are electrifying and unpredictable, and you can usually find the signs that it's coming way before it even comes. It's kind of like the star of this video. They are like a human version of a tornado. And yes, you may sense that they're coming, you just don't know when or with what force. So enter our favorite penultimate air sign. It's Aquarius season. Aquarius lives in the 11th house of friendship, intellect, and idealism. And any local newspaper will have you believing they are assertive, unique, and a rather idealistic individual. Full stop. What you actually get is a bold, multicolored peacock that spews out warped ideologies to anyone with an ear to listen. And this can be made true by a simple visit to your local nut farm, where yes, you'll find some Scorpios running around, but chances are if you check the resident list, it'll be chock full of Aquarians whose best friend is personality disorder. You may find this water bearer to be quite agitated, and you may have noticed an increase. Well, unfortunately, we have no choice but to live with it. You will undoubtedly see them tipping over the edge in droves, and this will happen for quite some time. The two planets of Uranus and Saturn rule our elder air sign. Uranus is characterized as a planet of abrupt change and crowned with bringing about revolution, while Saturn is the planet of dogma and repression. Combine these two planets together and you create a rather unpredictable personality who wars against the pull of creating change on one side and the crave for security on the other. You may find these water bearers atop a platform forcing the world to change around them, creating this sort of illusion of non-conformity, when in reality, they themselves fear change. Aquarians, quite frankly, are quite delusional and not passionate, which could help them, but they choose to rest on being aloof because they refuse to let introspection take over, because they will start to realize, like any strong-minded individual, that they do not have all the answers. Oh, for shame. They are always looking ahead instead of paying attention to the pile of shit they are standing in presently. And since they lack the ability to self-analyze, they have used this lack to create a keen judgment about others with little room to understand themselves. Unlike other air signs, you might find to be combative in the midst of an argument. Disagreeing with an Aquarian's version of the truth will have you getting a voicemail response or a blocked notification because you refuse to see things the way they see them. And chances are you probably won't see them ever again. However, if you're close enough to prove that they are just as delusional as everyone else, well, you will definitely witness a shattering terribly similar to a thin piece of glass breaking into a gazillion pieces. But if you have decided to enroll into the school of Aquarius, well, they may fawn for you and see you as one of their great followers. Hell, they may even fall in love. So, as I asked before, what is it to love an Aquarius, and more specifically, an Aquarian man? I would say If he isn't actually smart, you can trust that an Aquarian male will at least be an innovative thinker who eyes the future like horse eyes a bale of hay. And an Aquarian will usually find a way to make it real. He has a spontaneous side that prefers unplanned events, while his practical yet respectable side makes him secure and stable. He's usually an avid reader who is concerned with the environment and has a way of making you feel like a friend and an unconventional lover all at the same time. At his ultimate best, he is discretionary with a prickly, eccentric side that lives in his own head. Generally speaking, he is quite harmless, and at his worst can be seen as cold-blooded or a joyfully vile creature who will attempt to torture you mentally and take delight as he sits there and watch you crumble with the possession of emotional detachment like a psychopath. He can even have quite the acidic tongue. The type of tongue that would have insulted Anna Nicole Smith, calling her the plumber's version of Marilyn Monroe. Ouch. Or live a modest life with an appearance much like others, then go out one day for a beer and poof, disappear. The delusion of grandeur a Leo possess wouldn't hold a candle to the delusions that this water bearer holds close. This dusty air sign, because they are the oldest air sign, so they are dusty, sees himself as the hero of the world, the one who will save us all, whether or not the world needs saving. And it's not uncommon for them to force feed their plans for change on any unsuspecting soul. So mind your ears. Prime example would have you consider President FDR, who proposed a grand idea to help the crippling economy and the mass of unemployed Americans. This plan was called the New Deal, from which gave us Social Security tax, social welfare, and the World War II victory tax. And all this from his vision. And whether your political views would have you agreeing with him or not, he cannot be shunned for wanting to help the masses. Unfortunately, like a plan laid by an Aquarian, there was little detail or built-in restrictions and laid the foundation to the messy mess we find ourselves in today. It's kind of like Dr. Frankenstein. His mission was to restore life, but instead he created an uncontrollable monster. The remarkable thing about this water bearer is that he's not that selfish and not even that domineering. But this is solely attributed to the fact that you will probably see so little of this man. It's bad. He'll be taking the crown from our very own traveling salesman, yes, you know, Sagittarius, and you know how Sagittarians like to get around. So not seeing him often does not mean that he's off gallivanting without you. It's just that he doesn't physically leave the house, because any trip or gallivanting around would all be in his head. And he will virtually live in a secret closet or the garage, working on his latest inventions that will help to communicate with aliens, or offering the FBI his services as an expert spy with no experience. This guy's isolation is shared by the likes of his cousins, Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio, because, like them, he doesn't play nice with others. I mean, he's just as attention-getting as them. But he's a little ingenious when it comes to mind games. Now that you think of it, it's probably thanks to Aquarius that we have the term mental cruelty. You will catch that most water bearers have a nervous grin that some may see as a lopsided grin. When this guy's plugs is in and the switch is on, he is the king of snap judgments and long drawn-out answers to questions that no one ever asked. On his worst day, his wildly appearance will cause cats to hiss and crows to caw-caw. Be wary. He may be into substance abuse, not to calm his being as Pisces does, but to calm him enough to have a job. The amount he consumes to function would make any other sign go comatose. On top of that, he is quite paranoid. If you do happen to visit his home, you will find that the curtains remain firmly closed and that the TVs are turned on to CNN and his phone is set to do not disturb. He will treat you like an undercover agent and he will ask that you report any issues at the grocery store or at your job. It's not that he will do anything about anything. It's just that he will take the information you give him and store it in his memory banks and place it in queue for the next disaster fantasy that will play out in his mind, all the while talking to the person directly behind you that only he can see. Be warned that he usually likes to roam the house in his birthday suit, which could be nice depending on the visual. And he will usually prefer the comfort of a good book, unless of course you feed into his perverse side. The more bizarre you look, the more drawn to you he will become. Go ahead and try it. Just enter the house, I don't know, as a sexy fox with a wizard hat and the latest Yeezys and watch him salivate. You could even go as far as to play pretend and tell him that the wizard hat you're wearing is a nuclear bomb and may or may not detonate when he does. Do this and it will drive him crazily into a sexual frenzy. Just go ahead and place it on his head and tell him he's the ultimate booty bandit and you will definitely have a night you will not forget. When in balance with the unstoppable forceability of Saturn, Aquarian man can be quite inventive, original, and in some regard unstoppable. For instance, consider Harry Styles if you will. True to his Uranus energy, he always ran the stage with unkempt hair and an open shirt to set him apart from the other boys in the group. He gave the girls the feelings of old reawakenings, the likes of Mick Jagger. Even today, you do not quite know what to expect when he hits the red carpet. Like other Aquarians, he wants to leave a mark. In 2020, he became the first man to appear solo on the cover of Vogue magazine, adorned with a dress no less. And his treat people with kindness mission is perpetuated by a quote that he made in reference to the dress where he said, "To not wear something because it's female clothing will shut you out of an entire world of great clothes and fashion." He then went on to say, "What's exciting about right now is that you can wear what you like, and the lines are becoming more and more blurred." Off stage, his life merges nicely with his penchant for charity, especially those that aim at gender equality, with combined charitable efforts exceeding $3 million. But dear Aquarian lover, it should be clear that whether your Aquarian is a strange yet harmless genius or a sarcastic anarchist, life with the Aquarian male is a wild, wild ride, as wild as you can get on planet Earth. So as we watch you whisk by, and the rest of us look for thrills on other planets, be sure to add a like, comment below, and most importantly, subscribe. We have more content coming down the line and look forward to you all joining us. And as always, thanks for watching, and special thanks to those who have already subscribed. True, most of us prefer to be and feel protected when a storm's coming. But if you are one that is a storm chaser, well, you have your catch here, so get to chasing. But while the rest of us wisely stay secure indoors and watch from our windows as the tornado sucks you up and away, we will be safe. But remember, the stars are always watching.